Welcome to El Chicano Sueneo, the Chicano dream. This is a story of resilience, ambition, and triumph over adversity. Through the lens of my family's journey, this audio story will explore the profound challenges and incredible victories of navigating higher education as a low-income Mexican-American family. We'll dive deep into the cultural, financial, and social obstacles that often stand in the way of the American dream and share real, unfiltered experiences through heartfelt interviews and visuals from my family. By sharing this story, I aim to inspire others within the Latino community to pursue their dreams no matter how high the hurdles may seem. Join us as we explore the raw and authentic path to achieving El Chicano Sueño, a testament to the power of education and determination. This is my Nana. Do you want to say hello and say your name?
Hi, hello. My name is Maria Gutierrez.
Please share with me your experiences growing up Mexican American.
I went to a high school that had different minorities in it, and they were always doing something bad at the school. Either they were fighting with each other, or they were, doing stupid things that I didn't really want to do because I was really concentrating on getting A's in my classes because I really wanted to go to college. Once I got to school, then I concentrated on my subjects, on everything that I had to do, and so I got good grades in all my classes. And because I got good grades, I got put in this special program that we used to go to Stanford for the summer. And we'll spend the summer in Stanford, and we learn many more new things, like um, how to make pictures, how to develop pictures, and they took us to different field trips and everything. So it was really interesting to me. At times, in some of the classes, I had one teacher that in high school that pointed me out and this other girl in class, and he made me stand up and say that I was part of that Stanford program. And then at the end, he said to the whole class that me and that other girl were not going to make it because he was going to make sure that we will not be on the top, on the, what do you call it?
The
The
top achieving students.
Yes, the top achieving student. And when I thought he was just joking because I got a teacher wouldn't do that in front of the whole class, and it turns out that he was serious, man. Because me and the other girl would pass our homework up towards him, and then he would say that he lost the homework or that we never handed the homework. And he started doing that consecutive, for 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, no, I didn't let it go on for 3 weeks, a week and a half. And then I thought, wait a minute, this guy is serious. And so I went to the counselor, the one that was in charge of the whole Stanford program. And I told him what this teacher was doing. And then he goes, oh, don't worry, I'll handle this. And I said, okay, thank you. I said, because I really want to go to that Stanford program. I really liked it a lot and everything. And he says, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. And the next day, me and that other girl got moved to another classroom. So he helped us, so we wouldn't be subjected to whatever he wanted to do to us. So I had to fight very hard for some of my classes because some of the teachers were really not, the best people to
Yeah.
to be there teaching me and trying to be an example, because some of them were not examples of good teachers.
Nana, what inspired you to even have good grades and to go to college and go to that program? Because any other student could have just been like, oh, well, they said I can't or it's too hard and stuff. What motivated you
No,
to keep going
I
and
always, in my head, I always had uh, stuff that I was going to go off to college and get a good career and earn good money. That was always my goals in my head. That's what I had in my my
Mm-hmm.
head, you know. And my mom was the same thing. She when she got here to the United States, she went and she learned English. She took classes to learn English. She went to citizenship, and she went to go get her citizenship from the United States. You know, everything that she's supposed to do. And then she went to go get learn how to a vocational school to learn how to work for these big companies. At that time, they were making TVs and cameras and all these things, and they were what do you call it? So my mom went and got those kind of jobs so that she could, you know, help us, or pay, support us. And so my mom set the goals, and then the rest, you know, I just saw it and I thought, oh my gosh, I have to do, you know, I want to do the same thing. So that's my interest was always to read, get educated, you know, move up ahead, and I did. I accomplished getting my master's program in social work, and I was a social worker for this county and for Santa Clara County for all my years. I retired from it, and I had one judge that I used to go up against sometimes, and everybody was scared of her because she acted really mean, and especially against the Latinos, she was even worse with us and stuff. And I used to stand up and fight for my people too when I was sitting there with my people, and then as she was being mean to them and everything, I would stand up and I said, Judge, you're not supposed to be treating them like that. Just because they're Latinas or Latinos, you don't treat them like that. You treat them like a human being. You cannot be judging them and acting like that in front of everybody. Oh, she would get mad at me for saying that to her. But I had to stand up for everybody, you know. I didn't like the way she was treating, you know, the people that I was representing sometimes in some of those cases. And so um, she would make me stay in the social work room for an hour, hour and a half, because she was mad at me because I spoke up in court. I didn't care, you know what I mean? I went in there, and if I got punished, I got punished. I had to sit in the social work room for an hour, hour and a half. And and when she was about to retire from the bench, she approached me and she said, "You know, Socorro, I really admire you because you don't, you don't let something stop you. If you need to say something, you'll say something in court, and the people are well represented by you because you're a good social worker." This is the judge that did a lot of stuff against me.
Mm-hmm.
She punished me a lot because of, because I spoke up for my people too. I just didn't let her do whatever she darn pleased, you know. But this is part of, the kind of social worker I wanted to be. So I'm glad that I did what had to do.
That's good, Nana. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you for
All
all
right.
your wonderful answers. I now want to share my Tia Nancy. Please share your academic and career achievements.
I've been in education for 20 plus years. 6 of those years I was a school principal. 5 of those years I was a school teacher. Two of the best jobs ever. And then I went to Harvard. I took a pause to get my doctorate, and then I went back and worked in New York City, the largest public school system in this country. Worked there for a couple of years, and then moved on to what I'm doing now, which is work for a nonprofit organization, and we support school principals across 40 states to get the types of supports I wanted when I was a principal. And I've accomplishments like I've been. It's been nice to get acknowledged. Like I got the 2023 San Jose State University Distinguished Alumni of the Year. I've gotten California State Principal of the Year recognition. I've gotten UC Davis Rising Star of the Year recognition. Just I was announced as a 2025 Innovator of Color Award for ASU GSV, which is a huge education and tech conference. It's a big honor to receive that. Yeah, just I've been able to write 2 different books. One very personal to me about East San Jose and about recognizing people who give back to their community. The second book is more around technical skill, around coaching, leadership coaching, and it's sort of some of the work we do at my organization. on paper and wrote a book. So those are a few things.
Yep, that's my tia.
Hey, what,
You
what?
already know. So I want to ask you if you could share a bit about your upbringing and what was life growing up in a low-income Hispanic community.
Okay, so it's important to note that we grew up in East Side San Jose. There's a lot of pride. So it's interesting. When you talk about stories, which stock stories I think you're talking about, right? And then the counter story. Stock
Mhm.
story is a thing everyone thinks. So they think the stock story is, East San Jose. Oh, it's ghetto. It's violent. It's like people there, like they don't care about their kids going to school. They don't, and then there's the counter story, which is the story I think we're telling today, which is what actually happens. And then there's also resistance stories, which I think because of resistance stories from my mom and from your grandma and from your great grandma, my grandma, like that allowed us to be the counter story, to do something opposite of what maybe was expected of us. And so I think that's number one, because when growing up in East San Jose, and I know you feel this, Ava, like you can kind of tell when somebody doesn't believe you, like you're worth anything.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like when they don't expect much of you. And I think that's how we all grew up. Interesting thing is that I never knew. I don't think I ever like. I knew that people didn't expect much of it. I know that people thought we were all those bad things, but what I didn't know was how brilliant we were until later, until I had to kind of accept and own my brilliance, because that's like different when people are telling you and showing you than what you actually are. So I think, that's number one, is expectations that people have of you. I think number two, it was the counter stories, that it was amazing to grow up with so many brothers and sisters. My cousins lived around the corner, right in Hopkins, and we lived in Cafe, and my grandma lived there for a little bit on Hopkins, my tias, and we would just like go around the corner and hang out, and you knew everybody in the neighborhood, and my friends like lived around, and we'd take the bus together, and we went to the schools that our parents had gone to, right in East San Jose. Like my mom went to Fisher, and um, three of my sisters and brothers went to Fisher, and then the three of us went to Ocala. But it was it was wonderful in that sense of community, and it was hard in the sense of the way people judged us.
Yes, San Jose is definitely a representation of the Chicano community, and I
That's
just
it.
love how we all come together collectively and we support each other and we help each other through everything. Um, One of the biggest things, like facing when we're in a community that is underrepresented, is we face a lot of financial problems, but because we have strength in numbers and community, I feel like that's exactly how we get through those financial issues as well, is that we support each other. I will
Yep.
always hear stories from Nana about or about my great grandma growing up in the fields and saying either you stay here and you work in the fields or you go and you get a higher education so that you could support your family.
I think my mom being, and you're curious for you to ask her this, like, what was it like for her to have parents that worked in factories and in the fields, because they were never home, and she really had to raise her 10 brothers and sisters.
Hmm.
So she experienced that as them not being around, like, and said, I'm going to do better, I'm going to try to make something. I think there's another side to that. Like, talk about the counter story of that is the opportunity, the sacrifices that people make coming to this country, knowing that they will not experience the glory, but that their kids might, or their grandkids might, and that's where we are, right? Like saying, your sacrifices will not be in vain. Like,
Hmm.
I will work hard to make sure that I mean, can you? I mean, I think about little Kai Kai, Renu, and Ani, and I can't imagine Ava, like, putting them around my body, crossing the Rio Grande River to come to this country. My grandma did that with my mom. She strapped my mom around her body to bring her to this country, across water, a body of water. Like, that's
That's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah.
I can't imagine doing it, like, because that's so scary, and you're doing something, you have to do something in pursuit of a better life.
So when we were kids, your grandma decided to go back to school. I was in high school when that happened. And to watch your mom, like I remember my mom, and she doesn't love these stories, but I'll tell you these stories. They're important. Like I remember her coming home crying her eyes out because she just felt like she wasn't good enough to go back to school, or she wasn't going to pass, or she felt dumb about something, or somebody laughed at her, or somebody told her she was stupid, or whatever it was. Like, so it wasn't like this story of like, oh, she went back and she became valedictorian. She went back and really struggled through it, and we saw it. And seeing that was something like it. I think for all of us, it was like so motivating. Like, wow, like, and just like you, Abel, going like seeing your mom as a young mom taking you to class. Like,
Hmm.
you see these things, you're like, wait a minute. So I don't have, I'm not taking a baby with me right now. You're like, why can't I do it? And my mom had to do it and take care of me. So I think that changed a lot for us. Like, we were like really inspired by that. And I'll say that, like, that inspired us to say, like, if she can do it, why can't we? And it almost became the expectation that we would do it, and we did do it.
Yes. So, what do you say by inspiration from your family is how you overcame your like kind of cultural barriers to going to college? Just thinking about our family's experiences on how they overcame and how they made big sacrifices that we should be able to do the same thing and do the same sacrifices for our family.
Yes, and there was something in there around serving other people, of service, making the world a better place. It's a different
Mhm.
when you just want to, like, you want to make money, you want to do this, that, like, that's fine. Everybody needs to make money and make a living, but purpose there beyond getting a college degree, it was, can I help make the world a better place? Can I do my part? Can I be the change? If I don't like things the way things are, can I change them?
Yes, I love
So
how
that was part of it.
a lot of our family works in education and like social fields and stuff, and helping others. That's a big part of our family and um, our specific areas of work. How about financial barriers? How did you overcome financial barriers? And if you do have
Mm.
any resources, what resources did you use that you would want anyone else who is listening to this audio story to kind of get help and figure out where to get help for any financial barriers they may have?
So, just like anyone, I got I applied for financial aid. I got it. But I still had a cost. Like, my mom still had to help me. Like, sometimes you'll get, this, Ava, you're in school right now. So
Yes.
you might get certain support, but then you still have other bills. Like, you got to eat still, and you still got to pay your rent for your apartment. And, there's all those other things. So I worked a lot. Like, I got
Yes.
some aid, and I was a hustler. And so I was working. I don't tell the story often, but I did grounds work. I was literally like picking up garbage out at UC Santa Cruz.
Wow.
Um, like doing things like that. Like, did I love it? No, but like, I wasn't like, oh, I'm ashamed, I shouldn't do this. It was kind of like, whatever I got to do, I'm gonna do what I got to do, kind of thing. I need to
Exactly.
make some money in, and that was it. So I did that. I did work, but I also was also okay with taking out a few loans. Kind of with the theory that, like, I'm gonna get a good job and I'm gonna be able to pay these. And you have to kind of believe that that's going to happen. Like, of course, you don't want to get into great debt, but you're also doing this in pursuit of getting a greater job. Now, if, however, you don't finish and don't get that job, you need to pay off those loans. Or if you get into too much debt and aren't handling during, like, you could potentially be in a situation you don't want to be in.
Mm-hmm.
But no, financially, it was just like simple. And then I also had my friends who were people of color. Like, I had a couple of Latino, a couple of Black friends who we were kind of all in the same boat. Like, we didn't have much, so we just helped each other. Cup of noodles here and there, shared it with each other. Like,
Yeah.
tried to cook, tried to get an apartment, shared a room. Like, I didn't expect to have everything I wanted immediately. I expected to have to share and to do my part, and so it was like a more like humility that you have to bring into that space, not expecting that you're going to get all the things you hoped for immediately. It'll take time.
Have you ever felt like you needed to choose between helping your family financially and pursuing your own educational goals, or no?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, yeah. even right now, I'm still helping. Like I'm 46 years old and I still feel like I'm helping, I'm sacrificing things that I need or even my own little family needs so that others can be okay. So that never ended. I have to sacrifice my education? Not necessarily, because I got it done in 4 years. If I stretched it out a little bit, or if I did anything, that would have been different. But so no, not in terms of education, but sacrificing other luxuries in life. I've had to do a lot of them, still do it today for the family.
Hard to be like physically away, and I know that you could relate to that because you also had to move away. So it's just been really interesting of just kind of feeling kind of detached from family, but knowing you're doing it for family at the same time.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yes.
And that's what they say too about like people, like not every person of color, but many people of color in executive roles like myself. Like people are like, oh wow, look how much that person has, and this and that, and they don't realize that it's different than the person next to you because you're actually using a lot of the resources that you've gained as a result of all your education to help. Like I'm not just raising two kids. I'm like helping my mom, and I help Teresa, and like it's like a constant thing. So. But people don't see that because they just see like the well-educated Chicana.
Do you feel that you achieved the American dream? Why or why not?
Oh, how interesting. Um, yes and no. I think I've been able to better myself, but like as a woman of color in this country, I have to do 2 times, 3 times as much as a mediocre white man has to do to get the success I have right now. And so, like, yes, I've been able to buy a home. I've been able to um, live in a place I've always dreamt of, New York City. And um, it's still, I'm still in debt. I still help my family. Like some people are in spaces where they're able to achieve success and still rely on their family to help them. And I feel like I'm in a place where I've been able to achieve a lot of greatness in service, like you were saying earlier, in service of the people I love, to keep helping, to keep it. So it kind of, sometimes it puts me at a step. Even today, I had to make a decision earlier today. Am I going to sacrifice myself, aka my credit score, so to make sure that another person is okay. So I said, so yes, I have a lot. I'm very grateful. And I've worked hard for it, and I don't believe in the American dream in some ways because there is no way why I should be an individual with this much success without every family member of mine having the same. I shouldn't have a homeless sister. I shouldn't have a younger brother who can't find a job. And, I like those other things shouldn't be true. There are families where everyone is successful. Why can't that be ours? And so, yes, I have. And I don't think it's like a fair dream because not everyone has access to it.
Yes, I feel like you're describing exactly what I'm right what this audio is about. It's gonna be about the El Chicano Sueño. That you're definitely describing what, all of us want to achieve and what we have to get through in order to achieve it. It's our dream. It looks a little bit different than American dream, but this is how we pursue it. And it comes a lot from community, and I just want you to say for the final question, what would you say to the Chicano community on, or like, what advice would you give them those who feel discouraged about pursuing higher education?
I would say that you can do it. We believe in you. Don't doubt yourself. That you're going to get into those rooms and realize you're smarter than every other person in the room. Society wants us to believe that we can't compete, that we're not as smart, that we don't have the skills and tools we need. And actually, we have so many of them. I mean, who would you want to be stuck on a stranded island with? Somebody who lived in a bubble their whole life and got everything handed to them, or someone who worked their ass off to get what they have now and became very resourceful, became someone who thought of every little aspect of what it means to survive and what it means to thrive and how to be in community, how to help each other, like, and get creative about it. That's the person I want to be stuck on the island with. And those are the types of people that we are, like, given our experiences. And so college is nothing. We've been through so much in life. College is a piece of cake. That's what I would say. If you want it, you can have it. And if you don't want it, then don't do it. Because guess what? College, like what, 35% of the people go to college in this country, yet college has made, it makes people feel really bad if they don't go. People are like, oh, I wasn't smart enough. And it's like, so many people don't go to college and do really, really well in life. So it's not college, it's whatever you want it to be. And you can do it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I love
You're
that. I
welcome,
love
babe.
that message.